Hello everybody and welcome to more Heroes of the Storm here on KhaldorTV. The end of the Storm Qualifier number 8 has started and we have the game between Roccat and Puszek. A best of one played on KhaldorTV, and we actually see Zeratul going through the draft for like the first time in quite a few days. So right now we have him on the side of Roccat. Roccat playing not only with the Zeratul but also having a Khaldor in their midst, and they are using the Malfurion for the heals with the double front line consisting of Leoric and Muradin. When we look at Puszek, then we have already a few counter heroes to try and crack that, especially that Anubarak with the Web Blast can isolate Malfurion once that he starts to use his Tranquility using a Web Blast. That's of course one of the things that are going to be able to rely upon. We also see a Jaina, by the way, in the mix. So with the bans going more in favor of like a Zagara, for example, we have now a Jaina in game, and she's usually banned out these days. So we have once again that fight between the Fire Mage on the one side and the Ice Mage on the other side. Johanna, of course, the hero on the side of Puszek, and we're also seeing them with an Uther plus Vala. So very solid composition for both of the teams. A bit more of a melee assassin focus on the side of Roccat, but still a very strong team for both of them. And we're going to jump into Cursed Hollow to find out which team is going to take the victory. Game number 1 of the day, ladies and gentlemen. We have Roccat going up against Puszek. This is of course our first round match and therefore best of 1. Cursed Hollow is the map and this is going to be a good one. We have currently to the left side of the map Roccat with Shadowmar on Malfurion, Sport Billy on Leoric, Zocke playing Muradin, Chris is playing Zeratul, and we have Hazorps on Khaldor. To the right side of the map it is the Polish team with Uberim on Vala. They had a few lineup changes. Davis is apparently subbing in for them today or trying with them. We have him on Johanna, Kreku is playing Jaina, Ardren on Anubarak, and Juf on Uther. I think a few days ago it was announced that Terror is currently thinking about like retiring or like changing the team. I'm not quite sure what exactly it was, but well, basically it was announced that he's not going to play Heroes for Puszek anymore. I'm not quite sure if he's going to continue with the game as is. He's still playing in a few of the leagues where they have to keep the original lineup, but for most of the tournaments, from what I've been told, he's not participating with them anymore. So there are a few changes. The European scene in general is a bit in flux, or was for the past few weeks, is stabilizing a bit more now, but still, like, there's always going to be team changes, and this is just one of those times when that happens a little bit more often. Currently up to the top lane, as you can see, we have Hazorps going up against Ardren on Anubarak and on Khaldor. There's of course always the potential for rotation. Down here, Chris is moving past Uberim and Juf. Kreko is there, and yeah, well, that's the wrong lane to actually gank. The whole idea here is of course to stun with Uther and then Kreko trying to get the blizzard damage in. That's one of these things that they're trying to do now. Chris at the beginning of the game on Zeratul doesn't really have to roam. Normally, of course, if you think about it, a Zeratul should always try to roam and put pressure on heroes. But at the beginning of the game, it doesn't really do too much for you. You want to be on lane just a bit so that you get experience and also that you get some seasoned marksman stacks. And then from level 4 onwards, you can really make a bit more pressure. You can make more happen because you have more potential for damage. Currently, we have down in the bot lane one tower already down. Chris can't really do anything about this. Once that he shows himself, he can maybe use the Singularity Spike, but that's already about it, because there's just way too much against him. With that, exactly. The Blizzard, like, just look at this. Just a bit of damage from 2 heroes, and he's already down to half health and has to well up. So, the rotation up here at the top, there's a tri-lane for Roccat, and I don't really like what they're doing right now. I think they are just giving up way too much. If they could push in faster than the tri-lane at the bot, then it would be alright. But up here, as you can see, only one of the towers is at half health. At the bot lane, we have the entire wall already gone. And Puszek is taking a bit of a lead with this. So, Rockat's rotation, non-existent basically. That doesn't really mean that they're going to lose the game here, but they are giving away some experience and also pressure in the early game. Especially since, of course, now one of the goals of Uberim and Vala is going to be to drop that well, so that Chris has no chance of actually having the lane sustain that he needs to catch the experience for his team. We have it now 2 minutes in when the mercenaries spawn. Shadowmar and Zocke were already rotating over to the Siege Giant camp, and it's pretty good timing for them, putting those two up at the top lane, where we have at the bot lane still the tribute being announced, so they can just simply use that to either pressure in a lane or take the first tribute. Puszek is very likely to... Oh wow, they rotate actually. I was just about to say they're very likely to leave a hero up at the top to make sure that they are defending the lane. But that's not happening here. They actually move down in here, and Shadowmar captures this tribute. That is quite unfortunate right now. They're losing a ton of experience up at the top lane for no reason whatsoever. Sport Billy alone on Leoric was able to slow them down long enough so that Malfurion could channel the tribute, and now, with the experience lost at the top lane, not only is the experience basically negated, that advantage that they got by taking down the towers, but they are even behind. That didn't really work out for them. I was a bit surprised in the first place to actually see that rotation from the top down to the bot. I don't really think that first tribute is important enough to warrant that. But they felt that they needed to go for it, and even with those Siege Giants pushing the top lane, they decided that the tribute would be worth more to them, even though it's the first one. Either way, we now have the teams with at least Roccat with 1 tribute. Experience is still very much the same. Roccat is actually a tiny bit behind, but only until we have this wave taken by Leoric, which is now the case, so they are going to hit level 7 at roughly the same time. Looking up at the top lane, we're still seeing a bit of a rotation here from both of the teams, of course, trying to get their kills in. We've been talking about this already earlier, and right now we have still no kill in the entire match. Level 7s are here though, and they're trying to go for Leoric, but he can easily get away here. Went for the renewal on level 7, on level 4 we are seeing him with a hardened bone talent. Over there again, Devis trying to just go through here. Jouf isolated from the rest of the team. The tribute is ready. Vala went into the arrow build as already suggested earlier. Makes a lot of sense against the melee assassin like Zeratul. You should always go for an arrow build against Illidan and Zeratul because it helps you to stay alive in the team fights, and also it's the best one-on-one build that you have, and oftentimes the melee assassin is going to jump you. Talking about jumping things, Leoric is getting attacked here and taken out, and he's of course going to try to be back in the game as soon as possible, and you can really tell that he's going to revive super fast here. But Kel'Thas is now also dying, taken out up at the top apparently by Jaina. And in this case, it's a tribute for Puszek. So tribute for both of the teams. A slight lead again for Puszek after they just picked off these 2 kills, which is really going to help them. We're having a full beetle build on Nubarak, who went into Leeching Scarabs, Legion of Beetles, and the Assault Scarab. Sport Billy is still very much alone in the mid lane, but thanks to his Wraith Walk, he's not going to have any trouble here. At the bot lane, Uberim is fully aware that Chris is currently here, and he starts to take down a few of his hit points. The problem, of course, with the arrow build is if you fire that arrow in a hero that stands in the middle of a minion wave, then you're not going to do too much damage to him, except for that initial attack there. But still, it really helps. Like, it helps to take it down a bit, and as long as Zeratul is pressured, he has to move away, and Chris already was forced to just take his well, and therefore Uberim in a slight advantage right now, has a bit more hit points, has still his cooldowns ready, so if Chris really decides to jump in, then Uberim would be able to use that hungering arrow again. Up at the top lane, there's a 4 versus 4 battle ongoing though, and in this case we are still seeing the tribute being, okay, channeled but already disrupted. And the attack against Leoric again. The Cone of Cold coming in. Kreku is trying to just lock him down. And we have Zoka jumping away, but space created for Kreku, who channels the tribute and will capture the second one for his team. And they are very close to level 10 now as well. The mid lane is being pushed thanks to that Bruiser Camp that was taken just a few seconds ago. So with this alone, they can now put pressure onto the lane. Down here, it's still Uberim versus Chris. Chris, rather low, needs to blink away. But Leoric up at the top lane, dying again. So Sport Billy here is under a lot of pressure. He's died for the 2nd time now already, and he's still trying to move back here, maybe flanking in again. Ardren is in position, and so is the rest of the team. Both of the teams now on level 10. Has Ops attack, can he get stunned? Jouf was trying to move in, but it's the Blizzard of Jaina that finishes him off, even with the heroic ability rushed out. Very good job here again by Puszek, and it's 4 kills against 0. They're running this with a strafe. They're looking at a Blessed Shield. There's a Water Elemental, Web Blast, and Storm Shield on the mix. And we have also very standard talents on the side of Roccat, going straight into that Tranquility. The March of the Black King, just absolutely great for you to stay alive, and also if you want to dish out some damage in those corridors, then you can definitely do that. But this tribute is one that both of the teams have now to fight for, especially, well, I guess in this case it's more so Roccat that has to fight for the tribute than Puszek, because they already have 2. That would be the curse, and it looks like Roccat is alright taking that curse, because at the top lane, Leoric is still trying to push that lane in. Oh, they're going for Malfurion. He's gonna die. Already dead here. Nice control of the Water Elemental, making sure that it slows down Malfurion, getting that Blizzard in then after that. And they're already going for boss. So it's basically them saying, hey, with Malfurion down, we can easily just simply go for boss here and then take the tribute whenever. They won't be able to contest that. It's still a bit of a ballsy move, to be honest with you. Especially since Kreku on his Jaina is now being attacked. Maybe Puszek wants a bit too much here. They have a really good situation going for them, but there comes already, yep, Kreku is about to die, and now all of a sudden it's questionable if they can even get the tribute. Big problem here now for Puszek. They were too greedy, and they might get punished for it. Divine Shield strafe, gets the full strafe off here basically. Chris is low, and that arrow hits too late, so Vala is now dead too. Muradin barely survived, but he survived, and now Puszek has to move back. So from a situation where they could have gotten the tribute and then possibly even gotten the boss, they now moved into a situation where they lost 2 heroes, are gonna lose the boss at the bot lane, lost the tribute, and didn't accomplish anything. So Puszek playing too greedy here, and they get punished hard for it. They had a perfect opportunity to take that curse to their opponent and then take the boss afterward, or at least let those lanes push in. But they decided to play greedy, and now they lost 2 heroes and the tribute as well. So they have to fight for the next one. The advantage that they had earlier is more or less gone, and that is a bit of a dire situation for them now, because that boss is pushing in the bot lane already, and that could allow Roccat to even take the second one if they now rotate up to the top and try to go for this one. As long as they have the level 13 talent, they would even have a talent advantage, and they're going to hit it earlier than their opponents. So right now, things are looking pretty good actually for Roccat. They are in the mid lane with 4 heroes, dropping the wall, and that will give them an earlier level 13, which they just now got. Flamethrower, of course, for Kalthas. We have Wormhole for Zeratul. There's also the Drain Hope, aka Crushing Hope talent, on level 30 now, and we have the Life Seed talent for Malfurion, who, by the way, went straight into his cleanse on level 7. So still a cleanse, thanks to all the stun that we have on the opponent's team. Makes a lot of sense to go for it, but of course you drop quite a bit of healing that he could have. As a triple spell sheet, that's basically the Kalthas Respect talent. That's what we're seeing here. And also an Ice Block together with the Shrink Ray. They move up to the top again. There is a tribute that would be Curse against them. And they're starting to... Okay, so they channel it out. Nice Void Prism isolating 2. Uberim knows that Muradin is in the Void Prism. Uses his Strafe. Dishes out a lot of damage, but it gets healed by Malfurion's Tranquility. Soke had to move away once again, eating a lot of damage thanks to the Hungering Arrow. Jaina... Oh yeah, that's definitely not the place for Jaina. It's also not the place for this guy. Well, actually... They already can get away here. Divine Shield had to be used, and now they have to move away here. They just got cursed, and they are in trouble. Running away, cursed, and now potentially losing the first fort in the game. So, quite an unfortunate situation here for Puszek. They have to be careful that they don't go on tilt here, because, well, I can only imagine what's going on in voice right now. Either they are taking it quite calm and saying like, alright guys, we tried and we failed a bit, we got too greedy here, or they are a bit agitated because they went from a really good spot in the game to a very back footsy kind of position now, and that's exactly what they currently are. So the experienced lead heading over to Roccat at the bot lane. We're currently still having that... Oh, Hazob's actually, it's very much alone. I was just about to mention that that fort was going down there, but yeah, Hazob's goodbye. So Kalthar's a bit too far out, but they got 2 keeps. Actually, like, they're, sorry, forts, and they might be able to get the one in the middle lane as well. Could be another one. 6 kills against 2. So if you just look at the team, like at the kills, the player kills, then Puszek is still alright. Their setup will still be able to get some kills in here, and it's going to be more difficult for Kalthas to really dish in the damage now, at least until level 16, as we have those triple spell shields on the side of Puszek. So Puszek is in this place once again going for the mercenary camps, but we already have a rotation Roccat going up to the top and thinking about maybe attacking that boss. More or less, it's also important for them to make sure that Puszek doesn't take it. So right now there is going to be another tribute on the map in just a few seconds, and that means that it is an opportunity for Puszek to curse the opponents. And Puszek right now, they're taking camps. And, well, Roccat kind of missed the opportunity to really do anything here. They had heroes up at the top and were just waiting for Puszek to try and take boss, which never really happened. So we could have seen Roccat move down here and take maybe the mercenary camp, which they didn't do. They didn't know about the position of their opponents, they didn't know what was happening there. But in the meantime, Puszek wasn't idle. They just moved in, took 2 of the camps, and they are pushing now the lanes, and that forces Roccat to react and just sit tight and keep tabs of those. Talking about things that they are keeping tabs of, Sport Billy up here is still in vision range, but Davis, is he gonna... Alright, yes, he sees him. Sport Billy was just like waiting, and for a second it really looked like Davis would move past him as well. But nope, he sees what's going on, and they are starting to move in right now. But the tributes should span very, very soon. And another thing is that we're also looking at the level 16 talent now. It hits a bit faster for Puszek, but it's not going to be like too much. There is imposing presence. Oh, very good damage against Sport Billy, but he gets healed. Northern exposure for the extra damage has been used now, and we're seeing next to that two double blood for blood basically. So Vala and Anubarak gonna use that now. Anubarak could have gone into an imposing presence as well. Decides to go for blood, that extra healing potion if you so want. Muradin, by the way, with a level 4 sledgehammer talent, doesn't have a problem whatsoever taking down that fort in the mid lane. And up to the top, we see Sport Billy now rotating. Just leeching experience. I mean, it's one of the things that you do with Leoric. You know that you're very difficult to kill since you have not only the renewal, but you're also relying on the hardened bones quite a lot. So you can be the guy that is far out on the map, scouts a bit what's going on, and you have a very decent chance of always getting away from your opponent, because all that you have to do is activate that Wraith Walk and just get the hell out of there. Talking Wraith Walk, we have Consume Vitality taken and the Rending Cleave. So oftentimes we see that now over the double bombs. Double bombs more of a single target damage thing, whereas the cleave, of course, in those team fights can be kind of nice. If you jump into like 3 or 4 opponents, you get a cleave in, and then you just move back with a wormhole. So then you can poke a bit more than you could with other heroes. In this setup, it really works quite well for them. So bosses are both up again. Both of the bosses are still on the map. And we're having Devis moving with the rest of the team in the mid lane. We're kind of in that phase of the tournament where you're, like, not in the tournament, but the game, where you want to always roam with 5 people, with, of course, a few exceptions, Leoric being one of them. We talked about his specialty a bit earlier, his survivability that he has, and he is still scouting out what exactly is going on. But they are trying to go for him already, and he might be out of luck this time. There's the damage, and Sport Billy is down. That Blessed Shield from Devis maybe used a bit too early. I don't think that was really necessary. They decide to go for boss, and Sport Billy is going to scout that out. At the bot lane, we're having now also Roccat trying to do the exact same thing. So both of the teams will end up with the boss in their hands. Top lane is going to be pressured a lot by this, and that's probably going to drop a fort. Not necessarily, but there's a pretty good chance. The thing is, though, that I feel we need Puszek to move down to the bot lane and really defend against this bad boy, because if they don't, they're going to end up in a position where they might actually... I don't want to say lose a keep, but it is going to suffer quite some damage, so they have to make a choice now. Do they rotate over and defend against the boss, or do they go for the tribute? I think tribute would be nice for them too, just getting that curse, but they have to deal with the boss first, and that timing just doesn't work out for them properly. So they're going straight for the boss, as we can see here, trying to take this one. There's already a rotation from Roccat moving in. They have 2 tributes now. Next tribute is going to be a really important one. Top lane, by the way, this is where the fort is going to fall any second. Additional experience for Puszek. And let's keep in mind that Puszek is still ahead in experience, right? I mean, they're still ahead. Only by a bit since this entire wall is now gone, but still, it counts for something. They're going to take the boss. We do have level 16s now. That means also Ignite for Khaldor, so you can start with the poking. That's where all those spell shields are going to be super useful. Well, only getting 1 stun in with that attempt here by Anubarak. But again, the hit, and of course, Ardren is now in a position where he could negate some of the damage. Juve already healing him out with his Uther. But yeah, the boss is still active, going for that tower, and actually this guy is doing a whole lot more damage than I thought. I was a bit skeptical that he would be able to go through the entire wall and the fort at the top lane, but then, granted, they were in a situation where that really worked for them in the sense that most of the ammunition was already gone. Over here, though, we have a big fight in the mid lane. Hazops wants the second curse for his team. March of the Black King already used by Sport Billy. They need to channel... Okay, they break the channel. Water Elemental is in, and they turn it around. They try to go straight for the heroes here, but we already have a Web Blast used by Anubarak. Vala is the first one to die, and they are switching targets just a bit too much here. Once more Muradin jumping in, and this is going to be another curse. The Beetle is a bit of a pain, annoying enough that Hazops drops another Flame Strike, but this is going to be curse number 2 against Puszek. 7 kills against 3, level 19 versus 18.5, but they have to move back again. The stuns are there. Chris is jumping in, blocking the path of Crick, who misses the Singularity Spike though. Here comes the heal and the Ice Block being used. But yeah, they should be able to save everybody here for now, unless Anubarak dies, and yep, that's the case. So it's going to be a keep for Roccat here already. I don't know, like Roccat in general, I mean, I would give the edge still to Puszek in all of those fights. The problem just is they lose their heroes at the wrong time. They were switching the target in the last fight a lot, and that didn't really help them. I especially feel that when Jaina used her Water Elemental, she could have let it just hunt down Hazorbs on his Kelthas, because that either forces the healer back or it forces Kelthas back, and in both cases you're going to be alright, I feel. Turning around and trying to focus maybe Muradin with the water elemental didn't really do too much for them, so I feel putting some pressure on Kelthas in this situation would have maybe been the smarter choice for them. Either way though, they lost that fight. It's 4 kills against 7 now. And they lost the keep because of it. The keep at the top lane already suffered a lot of damage thanks to that boss earlier. And here's the 20s now, and they have it faster. They are still only 4 versus 5 though, and that's an issue. But Roccat is the team that pushes in a lot faster. I mean, just look at the structures on the map. We have currently still 2 forts alive for Team Roccat, and not a single fort is still standing for Puszek, and they also lost one of their keeps. But they have the faster 20, they are slightly ahead in experience, they get more kills in those fights, they have good rotations, they take the mercenary camps when they should, so overall they're doing a decent job. The only question is really, can they make a play? Can they take down one of those keeps? Can they get one of those tributes? It's 2 curses against them already, and we only had 1 well, we didn't even have a curse for Puszek. They, unfortunately for them, in the early game kind of screwed that up a bit. Here we have now Death March taken. It's a great talent. Death March is just like, the survivability that you get with this thing is incredible. It is just insane. It's not only the survivability, it's also just the amount of damage that you do thanks to that Drain Hope that applies on everybody that you hit. Now we have also now the Nexus Blades taken, and they already jump in. What? Oh, wow. Alright, so Leoric is probably going to die too. That's a lot of heal. Just look at that Death March talent. It is so damn good. Kreku is being attacked. Web Blast has been used. But over here, it looks like we're going to see them move in to try and drop another target, or at least they were trying to, and then that Void Prism came into play. But still, we have a 8 versus 4 kills, a 5 versus 4 situation on the map. The bosses, let me actually double check, when are they be back up again? 6 seconds, so they could really use that timing window that they have now and go straight for one. So, yeah, that's an opportunity that they should use. They should really try and take at least one of the bosses. As long as Muradin is down, that's one big problem that you don't have to face in these fights. Over here, it looks like Chris is already waiting. They're trying to go for the boss at the bot lane. Now, I'm not 100% certain why they would go for exactly this one, because, yeah, the fort is still there, but I feel the top one would even be a bit smarter for them, since that would definitely drop a keep. It looks like Roccat is going to try and go for it, though. I don't think they have enough time to do that. I really don't think they have. If they take the boss now and just move straight up to the top, they should be able to contest this. It's gonna be close. Are they gonna be... With Zeratul, they might just be in time. Yeah, okay, they're gonna be in time. But the tribute is there now. Tribute is there, and Muradin is also on the way now. He is actually going to be found. Yeah, it doesn't matter too much. Now they have to worry about positioning more than anything else. So the boss timing here worked out for Roccat quite well. Down here, Chris is trying to put additional pressure on Jaina. She uses Ice Block to negate the damage on the Singularity Spike. That worked quite well. So she's still on full HP thanks to the heal from Juve. Chris is so annoying right now with the Saracen. Jumping in, doing damage, moving out. Sport Billy is dead. And this time, even with his trait, he is going to stay dead for quite some time. He's doing what he can, but right now it is in the... Yeah, it's basically Rocket's job to just prolong this for as long as they can. And there's a very good chance that they are going to... Oh, wow! A 4-man Flame Strike. But there's still a very good chance that they are going to eat that curse now. Sport Billy is about to be back, and Devis is... well, is he moving in for this? Vala actually going down. So it looks like Zeratul got a kill after all. Now getting stunned, but that tribute or that curse is of course going to drop the keep here down at the bot lane together with the boss that they already took earlier. It was actually a very smart play on the side of... well, second keep is also done. It was kind of smart play on the side of Puszek because they had also the Siege Giant camp pushing. The problem is that we saw the exact same situation on the other side of the map where we had that boss taken by Roccat. So both of the teams now just annihilated in the last attack one keep of their opponent. But we also saw a lot of hit points already drop from the core in general. 84% on the core of Puszek. This is a pretty close game right now. I mean, this is one of those matches again where any single fight that you take can give you an opportunity big enough that you can go for a core. And we've seen a lot of these matches already, so they're gonna try and use that again. We have already, well, Puszek is trying to just get those camps. There's another camp in 2 seconds. What's going to happen over here? Okay, that's another 20, so it should actually be both of the teams getting one Bruiser camp. I don't really think that one of them will be able to contest the other one's camp there. So they go just for this one. and they will wait for the next tribute then as well. The tributes are going to be the center of attention as well as the bosses. Tributes at this point, of course, not as important because both of the teams don't have one yet, so it's not going to be that battle where you try to put the curse on your opponent or you try to prevent it. The Bruiser camp was not taken, by the way, so they didn't take that right away. They're starting to rotate over now. Oh, nice Void Prism here, but Leoric is already dead. Too much damage. Northern Exposure is great on Jaina to make sure that you get extra damage in, and if you have then also, of course, that Blizzard available together with a couple of stuns, you can really make that work, and that's exactly what they just did. So they can go for the Bruiser camp and take that away. Nice deal here. Roccat needs to be super careful. I mean, they are in a better position when it comes to the keep count, but still, it's not like they have won this. Leoric is back already, though, and he used the Death March, and they nearly get the kill on Jaina, but she is Divine Shielded, and Juve had to move away. It's incredible how fast Leoric revives here. Not only, of course, with his Drain Hope, but then also with the Renewal that he chose as the level 7 talent. So easy for him. Indestructible was the talent that we have on the side of Johanna, and it saves her for a second, but not long enough. She is going to fall eventually. Just trying to create some space by walking to the left side. Of course, already knew that this was not going to last. The boss, by the way, at the top lane is still a minute and 40 for both of them, so it's not going to matter too much that Johanna just died. Well, don't get me wrong, like, it matters of course a lot, but still, it's not like there are two bosses on the map that are now both going to be taken by Roccat and then they can win the game out, like on the back of this. That's not going to happen. But they are still in a very good position here. Give you a bit of an idea with the damage and what we're currently seeing. We have in this case, well, 10 kills against 6, so still a lead for Puszek. They're just waiting here at the key because that's the one thing that they really have to defend. 74,000 damage already on Khaldor, and we have 55,000 on Leoric. A lot of it just out by the Death March. That talent is just absolutely incredible. Jaina is currently at 58,000, and we're having now the attack of Roccat towards the keep. Trying to drop that and finish off the last keep in the game for their opponents. As Orbs and Spot Billy, they're just poking as much as they can. Juve moves in, and Kreku, they jump straight for a kill against Chris. There's the Web Blast, has been used. It was actually the target, or one of the targets that we're trying to take, but Tranquility was used by Malfurion, and therefore the Web Blast just immediately afterwards. But it could be a kill against Vala. No, she's safe for now. They're still trying to chase Roccat. They didn't get a kill against Hazorbs either. So yeah, good defense of that keep, but it's going to fall in the long run. I mean, like, how long can you really make sure that nothing is going to drop those last few hit points on the last remaining structure in the game? Tribute channeled out, that really helps, and the bosses are up, and at this point we're having the bottom boss taken. Puszek needs to either contest or take their own. They can't lose this. They seriously cannot simply just stand there and watch this boss die. I don't really know what they were thinking there. Guys, this is bad. This is really bad for Puszek. Roccat has now a boss pushing the bot lane, and there is nothing at that bot lane anymore. No fort, no keep, no nothing. So they have to defend this. Roccat can move in together with the boss, or they could even go for the boss up at the top lane. They have the choice right now. They're probably going to try and take a kill here. If they get it, then, oh, there's the turnaround. They try to fight. They want to make sure that they win this fight right now, and they're trying. Muradin low. Leoric is too. There's the Divine Shield on Jaina. They're going in again, but Chris is already in the back line trying to get a hold of Jaina. Jumps in, about to take her down, and there's the kill. Leoric dies too, but he's going to be back in a few seconds, and if they get another one, then it's probably going to be game. The boss is already on the core. There's the root against Johanna. Vala is not going to make it here. She's dead, and there's the triple Void Prison. No chance for them to do anything about it. Davis is about to die here now too. Well, he still has indestructible, but he's not going to survive it either. And Nubarak and Uther are dead, and that boss, of course, already taking the hit points off the core. This is game either way. Really well played here by Roccat. Puszek actually with a very good fight, and I feel in a lot of the situations in this game, they had a chance to win it. But they made a few unfortunate decisions, and now it is Roccat taking the game. Solid end fights here by them, and they advance in the ETS3 qualifier. Congratulations to them to the victory over Puszek here in Cursed Hollow. In a really cool game, Roccat proves to be stronger in the end. At the beginning we had a couple of very nice fights for Puszek. Of course, that one incident where they were trying to take boss and also tribute at the same time completely failed for them, and that was a huge blow against them. But they came back and they were able to get back into the game, sometimes even taking a lead in experience, but Roccat was still a bit stronger there, and in the end they took the game and therefore advanced in the bracket. Solid play on the side of Roccat. Congratulations to Puszek too, though they had a really good performance and a good showing here as well, but Roccat, they take the victory. Guys, I hope that you liked the game and the commentary. If you did, give the video a thumbs up on YouTube, and of course you know the drill. If you haven't subscribed to KhaldorTV, you should definitely hit that sub button if you want to see more Heroes of the Storm content. That's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed the show. We're going to see you next time here on the channel with more Heroes of the Storm. Have a good one.